Hello, I finally got to watch Sister Wives season 17, episode 12, Life After Polygamy. Now, if you were watching season 1, episode 1, years back when it first came out, could you have anticipated that we would get to this point in the family's life? Personally, no, I could not. I did not anticipate this. I think maybe I was just being naive, or I don't know what. I was buying what they were selling. I thought they were just a fun-loving, caring family, a little chaotic, but they were doing their best. Now at this point in the show, we know they are a mess, and we have a lot to discuss. So as always, I just want to share a couple of things that stood out to me from this episode. Let me know if these are the same things that seemed important to you, or are there other things that you think we should discuss? Leave them in the comments. I hope you know I read every single comment and I respond to as many as I can, because this is the fun of this, is the conversation that we get to have around understanding what are these people doing, okay? The first thing that stood out to me was just the opening of the episode. I thought it was perfect. In a lot of ways, not totally perfect, but in a lot of ways. Number one, Christine is like tying up loose ends. She is getting ready to leave Flagstaff for the last time and move to Utah. And she shares with us that she's moving into this new house sight unseen. And that is so important, because to me, it represents her whole outlook on the situation. She doesn't know what the house is going to look like that she's moving into. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to her. She is just excited and ready to move forward to whatever is happening next. The nice thing, though, is she's not being like a goofball about it. She's not being naive or silly. She is acknowledging that this is stressful. She does talk a lot about how this is a stressful moment, how this is stress for Truly, how it's challenging to get up and start over in a new space. Like, she is being real about the challenges that are in front of her. But she's also really excited, because no matter what the house looks like, she knows it's going to be better than where she is now. I just felt like that was so perfect, that she doesn't know what the house is going to look like, and she's doing it anyway. She was an optimist, but she's real about it, but optimistic. Funny, I'd have to go back and watch some of the older episodes. Have they always so clearly just juxtaposed Christine to Robyn? Because I feel like this season, it is like almost tit for tat. If Christine is experiencing a moment, then they'll show Robyn's reaction to it. And they do that again in this episode. Christine is happy, optimistic, hopeful. And then they cut to Robyn's interview and she is just down about it all. In this episode, Robyn is reacting to the fact that Christine is leaving. And she says, I forget exactly how she says it, but basically, I know you know the moment I'm talking about. The collateral damage is going to be felt for generations to come, or something like that. Dramatic. Oh my gosh. The funny thing is, like, I do understand what she's saying, and I think in some ways she's true. Yes, the fact that Christine is leaving is going to impact her kids' experiences as children and adults, and their understanding of polygamy. And that's going to affect possibly decisions that they make in the future. And then, yeah, the decision is going to like affect their family for generations. But what I hate about this is that Robyn, once again, has positioned herself as a victim. The truth is, Robyn is a leader in this family. She never claims that power or that influence, but she is a leader in this family. And as a leader, when you feel like things are falling apart, maybe you take a moment, you have your feelings, but then you come back and you say, you know what? Christine is leaving. That's tragic for us. We love her and we will miss her. But let's take this as an opportunity to reinvest in each other, to make sure that nobody else wants to leave, to make sure that this is a family that we're proud to be a part of. Like, she could do any of that. And the truth is, any of the adults could do that. And none of them, I don't know if they're not willing to, they're not able to, they don't want to, I don't know. But I'm interested most specifically in what Robyn's response is, because she's the one who just keeps positioning herself as a victim. All of this is just happening to her. It's all happening to her kids. But the truth is, Robyn could stand up and say, you know what? This family culture that she talks so much about, she actually has influence and she is positioned to make this work. But she doesn't do it. Of course, a lot of this episode centers around Janelle and her trying to figure out her housing situation. I already posted one video talking a little bit about that specific conversation that Cody and Janelle have in this episode when they're in the backyard at Christine's house and they're arguing over whether or not to buy Christine's house. So I'll try to link that somewhere. At the very least, it'll be in the description box. I'll just say, watching this scene was like infuriating. It made me feel very sad and angry for Janelle because on her own, Janelle would have a house right now. The only reason that she is struggling between like renting and doing this and building that and doing that is because she's trying to like maneuver through in the context of this terrible relationship with this unloving man. And he basically admits that in this episode. Janelle needs, he doesn't say love, but that's basically it. Janelle needs someone to love her and care for her. And Cody says, I'm not willing to do that. If Janelle is not gone, living her best life right now, I'm going to be so sad. So sad. She deserves better. And Cody couldn't say it any more clearer than what he said this episode. I'm not willing to do the work to care for her, and she needs to like deal with that. Okay, so last thing that I'm going to bring up for discussion, but like I said before, if there are other things, please let me know what you think we should be discussing, okay? In this episode, we learn a little bit more about how money moves through the family. Mary talks just briefly about how money comes into the family, and Janelle then shares a little insight into how money has been leaving the family. What's interesting about Mary's statement, overall, it's stuff that we know. They have a pot of money, like a family account that everybody contributes to, and that's what they use to pay their family bills. What's interesting to me is that she says that up until recently, this is what we've been doing. And it's the up until recently part that's interesting. It does more than suggest, right? It tells us that things are changing. And I don't know if the change is Christine's left, and so there's not that money coming in. If you follow closely what's going on with the family outside of the show, then you know that Cody and Robyn have set up an LLC that only includes them and their kids. And so I'm sure that's impacting how money flows in and out of the family account. But definitely what Mary says is based on stuff that we've already known. There's a big family account that covers a lot of their expenses, but it also is showing us that things are changing. And that change does not seem to be in the best interest of the entire family. All right. Now we get to Janelle, who talks about how the money is moving out of the family's account. She shares with us that she is the one who takes the financial documents to the accountant and like they do their taxes and stuff, right? So she gets to see the big picture of their finances. She tells us that there is money to cover, their bills, their debts, and all the loans that they have. And then their day-to-day, like daily expenses are covered. And then there's like some certain amount of money that's left, right? Janelle shares with us that if the priority really was to build on Coyote Pass, if the priority really was for Janelle to get a house, there was money for that. Now, Janelle does not tell us what exactly happened to that money, but she does let us know that that money has been spent in a way that does not go towards the things that she thought was the priority for the family. Now, okay. This is so interesting. Janelle does not tell us who is spending the money, but we can use our deducting skills. What are they called? It's not reasoning skills, our ability to deduce whatever. Process of elimination. We can figure out who this is. Number one, it's not Christine who's spending the money because she seems pretty separate. She's out living her own life now. She's not the one spending the money. Janelle, I don't believe is spending the money. She does not seem like an extravagant spender who would really live outside the budget consistently. Mary, to me, also is very separate from the family. And I think that if she was spending the money, Cody would have had a lot to say about it. It would be a lot worse than just a knife in the kidneys. I think he would be pretty aggressively angry about it. So that only leaves us with one wife. One wife. Could it be the wife who, as far as we know, is the only adult who does not have any income outside of the show? Could it be the wife who has the biggest house with the most adult children living in it? Could it be the wife who for some reason has so many adults living in her home, but also has a staff of people helping her take care of her children? I mean, we knew she had the nanny, but then also apparently the nanny's husband was working for them. She has a whole staff of people. Robyn is spending their money? This is a question mark. I don't know this, but it just seems like all signs point to her spending the money. Now, I'm sure that Kody is aware of it. He's okay with it. He's in some ways, he's probably encouraging it. But what my big problem with this is, how many episodes has Robyn talked about the importance of the family culture? How many times has Robyn talked about the importance of having good relationships with the other sister wives, and I don't understand why they don't like me? How can you say that, but at the same time be spending money that doesn't belong to you? And your sister wife doesn't have a house? She's begging your husband to just invest in her being able to get a place to live? What family culture is that? Like, I forget if I said this already, but I want Robyn to be okay. I really do. I want her to be okay. But it's hard to root for her when she does stuff like that, or when she's a part of doing stuff like that. Okay, those are my 3 things that stood out to me that seemed important in this episode. If there's something else that you want to talk about, let me know in the comments. You know, I'm going to read it. I'm going to do my best to comment. And if nothing else, so we will plan to meet here again next episode, where it looks like Janelle is finally going to give Kody the business. We love to see it. All right, we'll talk again.